We are live. Hello.
From Gallifrey. Yes. Thanks, Josh, for joining me.
This is Gallifrey?
Yeah. Where did you think we were?
Oh, I thought we were at the Comic Bug. Damn it.
Well, we are live from Gallifrey, and we are going to be talking about Retro Who episodes. We're actually going to be talking about our first David Tennant episode, and I'm super excited to finally kind of move on. We're getting closer and closer to getting rid of Rose.
Yes.
That is my ultimate objective.
Yes. Also, I'm not normally here. I'm filling in for Daniel because he, I don't know, I don't have anything witty this week.
No, he's actually doing family stuff. It's very
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. We'll go with family stuff.
But yeah, and we are here and super excited, and I am back, and I'm glad that you guys can join us. If there is anyone in the chat, which usually it's like really sporadic, but for anyone tuning in later, hi to you guys too.
Yes.
And I guess until then, do we show up for like?
Oh yeah. Pull these back a little bit.
Look at me! I'm Mr. Miggins!
So, a couple of weeks ago, if you guys watch Star Wars Fanatics, you saw Ro had a Darth Vader cup. And then, if you pay attention to our YouTube channel here, you also saw Daniel and I did a fun little bit for the Family Guy Yank It blanket. And Twank, who sent us those, also sent us these cups.
I'm lying. His name is Mr. Meeseeks.
What does Mr. Meeseeks do?
He says, look at me! And then he says existence is pain. I relate to him.
Yeah, it is. And then I've got this cool Cuphead.
From that game that's extremely difficult.
It's so hard. I was here with Shay trying to get through just one level of it, and that took us like an hour and a half just to beat it.
Oh, that's a long time.
And we were so happy afterwards.
I mean, eventually you should be able to learn the patterns, right?
You would think.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no.
Okay, well, by your powers combined, it took you
it took us like
three
an hour
times
and a
as
half,
long as it should have.
Actually, it was me that won because you died.
I kept dying.
Yeah.
I did keep dying. What's weird about this one is it's got a straw. And
it's functional.
It's functional, but this is really big.
Suck on it.
Okay.
That's how you use straws, right? Are you getting anything?
Yeah.
You're doing it right. Congratulations, you know how to use a straw.
It's a little awkward though because it's all like I can't.
Because it bends a little bit, but
well, because it doesn't bend.
But it's already bent.
Yeah, because it's already bent and it doesn't bend.
And because it's super stiff and you can't maneuver it.
Yes.
We're talking about this on our Doctor Who show. Let's go on to something else. This is not an After Dark show. But,
wait. Look. You're like the same color as my shirt now.
I know. I'm embarrassed for myself.
All right, so back to Doctor Who. We got what do we got? We got the first episode with David Tennant.
Yes, we were talking about the Christmas Invasion, which is like a Christmas episode for Doctor Who. I feel like this is the first Christmas episode of Doctor Who, right?
I think so.
And it doesn't really have anything to do with Christmas other than the fact that it takes place on Christmas. And there's Santas that want to shoot them up.
Like Die Hard.
Like Die Hard. Mm-hmm. I've also never seen Die Hard. But
we're going to change that eventually.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get Rose and she comes back and like Mickey, I don't know why Mickey is always there to greet her.
I don't like Mickey.
Why? Why don't you like Mickey?
Well,
is it because you don't like Rose? Because for me, I don't like Mickey because I don't like Rose.
Yeah, I think it's the combination of what Rose does to Mickey. It's not like if Mickey was by himself, like in the episode where it was the one where the Doctor grows old, like later at the end of the season with where Captain Jack comes back, and I think it was the season finale of either this season or next season.
Okay, yeah.
When Mickey is with Martha and they're in like that battle, I was able to deal with him a little bit better.
Yeah, but now he's just like sprung on her and it doesn't make sense. And hey, what's up, Larry Newville? Asked about my shirts, but Joe will probably bring them later.
Maybe Joe is coming at some point.
And then, can I get a grape soda behind you, please? There's no grape sodas.
Got some Dr. Pepper?
And Shirley Temple?
There's some grape soda
there is
that
grape.
way. Yeah.
Maybe next time. If you ever come down to the Comic Bug, we will get you a grape soda.
Yeah.
Josh
I can do that.
But yeah, so Mickey always comes back, and I don't understand why he does this to himself. Like, Rose has already kind of established that she wants to be single, and she's going to go gallivanting on these adventures for however long the Doctor allows her to.
Yeah, and I think one of my things, especially that got pointed out in this episode, while the Doctor was sleeping in the bed, and Mickey and Rose are standing in the doorway, and he looks over at her, and he's just like, "You really love him, don't you?" And she just
turns around and hugs him, and kind of makes it seem like, "No, I love you." But also, obviously, I didn't justify that with an answer, so you can assume that I love the Doctor more than I love you.
Yeah, to me, that just kind of solidified who she is.
Yeah, but Mickey already knew this. Like, she has gone off with the Doctor multiple times, have come back, and he was like, why do you keep going?
And that's I think my problem with Mickey is that it's not so much Rose, because if I think if Rose was by herself and there was no Mickey in the picture, it would be fine.
That's true.
But because Mickey is just this guy who just keeps coming back regardless of how shitty she treats him,
Yeah.
it just bugs me.
But that's everyone in Rose's life, actually. Because even with the Doctor, like, kind of leaves and comes back and always saves her. Like, everyone in her life is, like, so devoted to her. So we have Mickey.
And I don't understand that.
And the mom, too, it's like, oh, you treat me so horribly. And, like, all Rose ever says is, Mom, is shut up. Why are you talking? I want to talk about me. I care about the Doctor. I don't care about you. And it's Christmas. And even then, like, doesn't give her, like, the time of day. And it's like, no, I want to talk about my adventures. But everyone is so devoted to Rose, and I don't understand why she's a horrible person, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't...
Like, super selfish, super
know.
self-absorbed, and, like, I don't like her as a companion. But she's a fan favorite, so...
Right? I mean,
don't get it.
personally, I like Amy Pond. And,
Ponds are really good.
And I like Clara, even though I know that Clara is not a fan favorite.
See, Clara, I like in the beginning. It gets a little convoluted, but I feel like that's more of the writing. But Graham, I feel like is like the most excellent.
Yeah,
companion
now I really like Graham, and I was also a big Martha fan. I think Martha was my favorite. But now I'm really starting to like him.
See, I really like Donna because I feel like Donna's the only one that had zero
I was never a Donna fan
romantic
either.
interest in the Doctor whatsoever, and they never had that kind of chemistry. Like maybe because with Clara, you kind of feel like, especially when he becomes Capaldi, it's like, oh, you're old. It looks
Right.
weird that I have a crush on you now, but it's like, no, this guy's like super old. He's like 900 years old. You shouldn't have a crush on him.
I think my thing with Donna was that, just as a character, like, you know, like there's certain people that just rub you the wrong way.
Yeah.
You don't know why. You don't know what it is about them. They just annoy the shit out of you.
That was Donna's first
that was
episode,
Donna for
but
me.
when she became like the proper companion, I quite liked her.
Yeah, she started to grow on me, but
Yeah.
I just never connected.
I think it was like by the ending too that her ending as a companion was the most devastating versus someone like Rose, and we're jumping ahead here, but Rose, who gets everything that she ever wanted, still was not content, was like, oh, I want more, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
she was just whiny all the time.
Donna was the one that got the short end of the stick of all the companions.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, and hers like devastates me, which is why I kind of like her a little
Yeah.
bit more, and didn't have that romantic interest, and I was like, oh, you know, she's super great.
Well, and then even after Donna left, Wilfred was still around.
Oh yeah, Wilfred was. I love. Well, that's like new Graham. So I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
saw that everyone loved Wilfred, and they're like, okay, let's try to make this guy to companion. We're gonna make him Graham, give him a little more personality, a little more spunk, and that's who we have now.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. And this whole, I don't know, this episode for a Christmas episode, like we said, kind of like Die Hard, doesn't really feel like a Christmas episode.
I mean,
other
that's,
than taking place
for me. That's most Doctor Who Christmas episodes.
Except for the ones with Matt Smith. The Matt Smith
Yeah,
Christmas episodes
yeah.
are the only ones I feel like are genuinely...
Like there was the Christmas Story one. There was the Chronicles of Narnia style one, and those definitely had a Christmas feel. But outside of those two, I don't remember any others that.
I feel like the
actually
one with the
really-
war and it was Christmas and the war stopped. That one was a really good Christmas one too.
That was Capaldi, right?
Yeah, that was Capaldi. But yeah, I don't know this whole thing, but I do like that they brought back Harriet Jones. She's like one of my favorite characters, especially in the first season.
I do enjoy. Yeah, I really enjoy when they bring back older characters that can come back and have.
Then you're gonna like next week. Next
something
week,
to
so
do.
I feel like you should come back on because isn't that where we get Sarah Jane?
Yes.
I feel like, or at least she's coming up soon.
I think so because this should be. I've watched all of these and I know them from when I watched them when they first aired. But I get the timeline kind of confused.
Makes it, yeah.
So, like, I know that the Sarah Jane Adventures came back at some point right around this time, and then this is also around the time that Torchwood started.
Yes.
But I can't piece together when in the season that was or what season that happened.
I think it's coming up soon, but Torchwood was definitely mentioned in this episode, which is super interesting. And
Right.
we get to finally see them do kind of something. Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sarah Jane is
Jane's
episode 3.
3.
So in 2 episodes from now.
I want to say that Torchwood started during the season because this is the episode where we saw the Doctor's hand get cut off. And throughout the entire first season of Torchwood, we saw that Jack had the Doctor's hand in that jar until it came back for the finale.
Yeah. So I think that's really good. And I love how this whole thing kind of leads up to like a bigger story arc, that things are happening outside of what we know. But we already got introduced to Captain Jack. We get to see Torchwood in this situation, like blowing up the spaceship as the Sycorax leave, which is, I don't know, like kind of world building for me in like really subtle ways.
Well, and that showed us who Harriet Jones actually was. Because the last time we saw her, she was just trying to get elected. She didn't know where she was as a political leader. And now she's solidified who she is.
Yeah, but I kind of do you agree with what she did, I guess?
I don't disagree with what she did. I can't say that's the same choice that I would have made, but I understand completely why she did it.
Especially with the Doctor coming to be like, hey, these people are going to go out, everyone's going to find out about Earth, this is going to be a constant thing in the future. The more signals you send out, the worse it's going to be for Earth. And I feel like she makes a decision being like, dude, these aliens almost wiped out 1/3 of the world population, not just Britain. And I think in that moment, she's kind of like, I need to protect the world. I'm no longer just prime minister. I am ambassador for Earth.
Right. But the question from that decision becomes, how do you want Earth to be known? Do you want Earth to be known as the planet that you don't fuck with because they'll fuck your shit up?
Yeah.
Or do you want Earth to be known as, hey, we're actually good people. So if you're nice, come here. But if you fuck with us, we're going to fuck with you.
But see, that's the thing, too. Like, I kind of feel like it just borders on the Doctor where he's like, no second chances. That's the kind of person I am. So it's like, what if they're not prepared for that? Like, if he didn't have that Satsuma and, like, knocked him, like, made the floor collapse and he was gone, Harry's thinking, like, I don't think I even want to give, like, any chances. Like, I might not be prepared for this in the future. I may not be the one leading us. It might be somebody else. Someone who doesn't know the Doctor, who's someone that doesn't have access to Torchwood. Like, she wasn't even supposed to know. She was like, yeah, I know I'm not supposed to know. No one's supposed to know. United Nations isn't supposed to know. So if she's not there to protect us, like, who else could there be? We might not even have a second chance. So I kind of feel like her decision is justified. And for the Doctor to be that angry, I was like, whoa, but you're also the one that's kind of...
It was absolutely justified. And we know from seeing things that the Doctor has done that he's also willing to go there if the situation puts it there. The thing with the Doctor is, though, he feels he's the only one that's able to make that decision.
Yeah, which is... I don't know. I mean, I kind of get it. Like, he doesn't want that weight to be on anyone else's shoulders and everything else.
Well, and that's exactly what it is that he doesn't want... If there has to be a bad guy, he wants to be the bad guy so that no one else has to be.
Yeah, but I like that Harriet Jones is willing to step up. And even when things seem hopeless, she's like, we have to think about it. What else can we do? What else do we have access to? Which is kind of like antithesis to Rose, who is just like, oh, I give up. There's no Doctor. We're all doomed.
Right.
And I feel like Harriet sees that and is like, I don't want our planet to be in the hands of someone like her. I didn't understand
that either. She breaks down. She's like, oh, the Doctor left me. He's sleeping in the bed.
Yeah.
Like, they know he's not dead.
Yeah, he still has his heartbeat, or at least one or the other,
Like, she doesn't know what's going on with him, and I get that, but...
She gives up all hope out of nowhere, and she's, like, crying to everyone that will, like, even give her the time of day.
Because that's who Rose is, and that's why I don't like her.
Can't stand her, but...
I started not liking her in the episode in the first season where she picked herself up as a baby and caused, like, those weird time demons.
And it's like, I only gave you one rule to follow. That we've never seen again. Yeah. I only gave you one rule to follow. You don't have to do this. And she's like, I'll do what I want. I'm Rose Tyler. And I don't like that attitude. And I don't like that the Doctor keeps forgiving her, especially since this one is like no second chances.
But it's not always I do what I want. It's I'm going to do what I want, but please tell me what to do.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
it's a weird like catch-22 with her.
Yeah, for sure. And like... I don't know. I still really like this episode. Rose is definitely not stellar, as she's not stellar in most episodes that she's in. But... Harriet Jones, I like that. The Doctor, like, trying to figure out who he is. I like seeing that kind of thought process, like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And finding it out as we find out as the audience, who like, oh, this is a weird thing, especially for American audiences that didn't grow up with Doctor Who. This is kind of a weird wraparound to keep a series continuing when typically it should end,
Yeah, and I think, I mean, the whole regeneration thing, it's clever. And it works. Because I've watched... shows where they just all of a sudden recast someone. Yeah. And it's like, wait, what's going on?
And they never address it either.
Right.
Unless it's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where it's like, Aunt Viv, you look different. But it's like, like a weird tongue-in-cheek kind of thing.
Yeah, they did that with Fresh Prince. They did that with Family Matters. The mom changed in the last season. But it was weird the way that she changed because of the whole contract things with that. So that was bizarre. But then like I remember as a kid watching like soap operas with my mom, and they would have a voiceover that comes over, and it would be the part of Brett is now being played by. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's super weird. Or like even when they try to do rewrites, like I remember I used to watch Charmed, and it's like Shannon Doherty had some issues with the show, and they had to out her and bring in a third person. I'm like, God, that was written horribly. But the way that they're able to do it on this show is absolutely phenomenal, and it is a different character. And you know, he is still the Doctor. He still has all of his memories, but each take on how he addresses things is super different. Like when he addresses the human race, he's like, these are people, versus Eccleston was like, oh, these apes, like they don't know better. Like, why are you even bothering with them? They're lower life forms, get away. Versus he's already way more compassionate and way more understanding to like.
Well, and that was also a thing that I liked when he kind of woke up, because like Eccleston, when he came in, he was already Eccleston.
Yeah.
So he was already established as who he was, and we were learning who he was just by watching what he did.
We were more like Rose, and like in Rose's place, and being like, oh, who is this guy? Oh, this is interesting. Why is he like this? Versus with Tennant, we are learning with him and with Rose and with everyone else. This is a brand new start for everyone.
And I do like that that's something that they do with the Doctors, is they don't only change the actor, but the personality changes as well, and that allows the actors to go off and do and become their own person, so that it doesn't just seem like, oh well, this is David Tennant pretending to be Christopher Eccleston, pretending to be the Doctor.
And he's his own, and each Doctor is so very different, and you can see that with the style of clothes as well. Like I like that they show at the end him picking out and trying to find out like what fits me, what do I want to wear, what kind of Doctor will I be, and you kind of see like little Easter eggs, like you see the scarf and
whose style do you like better?
Between Eccleston and Tennant?
Yeah.
Probably Tennant. I feel like it's more dressed up. Like Eccleston was more the badass, like
see
the
that,
writer,
I kind of dug that.
Yeah, I mean, it fits his character, but I think because I like Tennant and because he was on the show so much more, we got to see so much more of him. That like I like
grew
Tennant
on
more.
You over time.
Yeah. Like originally I was like, the suit. It's kind of pretentious almost
but
feeling,
then he was wearing Chucks with it, so at the same time
he seemed like a fun guy, and I was like, okay, cool. And then eventually he changes to the blue suit instead of the brown one, so I'm like, all right, same but a little bit different. So it grew on me, and even like, I don't know, each character, each Doctor's design just fits them. Like Matt Smith with the bow ties and like you know everything else, and Jodie Whittaker's with like the culottes or whatever they are, and like,
and
it looks good.
And even what's that old guy?
Capaldi, who looks like a magician. But I thought it was so weird.
I mean, for him, it was more like old punk rocker.
Yeah, and that's how he played it. And he had his guitar, and he had his sunglasses,
and he had the rings.
Like, and it's like, you know what? When they first released the image, I was like, God, he just looks like a magician. But when you saw his personality interact and you saw him on the show, I was like, you know what? This is super good. Like his outfit actually matches him like perfectly, and this character perfectly.
Right. So, what I want to know from whoever's watching, if anyone out there is watching, do you think that the Prime Minister made the right decision, or what would you have done in her place? Because that's at the end of the day, that's what we're looking at going forward.
Yeah, and that was a big thing, and that's what like rubbed the Doctor the wrong way. Even though he was the one that was like, no second chances, we have to kill when it is necessary, you know. And I feel like it was kind of like a weird thing too, because early in the episode, like Harriet Jones was like. There was like a phone call from like the United States president, and she was like, I want you to tell him these exact words, where it's like, he is not my boss, and he is not turning this into a war, which at the end kind of contradicts what, like she's trying to start a war. I know she's trying to like squash it, but at the same time, like
her actions at the same time could have started a war.
They're very hostile. Like obviously the Doctor was like, you go out and you tell everyone that the Earth is being protected or defended, whatever word he uses. And then Harriet, even after that, was like contemplated it and is like, tell Torchwood to do it. Yeah. And then you see it fall, and like the episode ends on this like really kind of depressing moment. It was like, it's not snow, it's ash. Those shooting stars are like pieces of the spaceship that were blown up, and I'm like, oh God, Merry Christmas to all.
But I did like when he went up to I don't know what her assistant's name was, but he whispered in her ear, he's like, doesn't she look tired to you?
Oh yeah, and that's how he unravels everything. Where it's like, hey, you know, I'm gonna undo everything that you just did by 3 little words. He was like, no, I lie, 6. And it's just like, and then all the news reporters like, yeah, you're tired, not fit, and she resigns, like she steps down, and it absolutely does work, and he does it in kind of like such a cheeky manner that like he seems threatening, but it was just like, oh man, she's tired. look at her, kind of haggard, right?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
not good for the job anymore. And the sense of like, yeah, she definitely did blow up that ship. I don't think she's qualified, and started this whole thing that basically undoes her prime ministery.
Right, but I don't.
I don't know if
I'm
that's
trying
the
to
word.
remember. I don't remember
Presidency.
after this episode. Do we see the prime minister anymore? Or
I think-
because I know we start seeing Unit a lot more.
Yeah,
But
you know,
I don't remember if we ever actually see.
it's been so long, like, because I watched these all as they were airing and coming
Right.
out, and I've never gone back and rewatched it, which
And
is why this
same
show
with
is
me,
super
yeah.
interesting. So I think that will be interesting to like keep track of that as the series goes on,
Right.
just to see what happens.
And to and go back and see who shows up, because it's something else that I was thinking about while I was watching this again, going back to Torchwood again, is like I know characters from Torchwood show up on Doctor Who,
It's just like when,
but
and
it's
who,
like,
and
yeah I don't
what
remember
time.
because I know like Reese is,
Okay, yeah.
is there when the first Torchwood location blows up. His girlfriend, who we find out is a Cyberman,
Oh yeah, yeah.
or like partial Cyberman later on in Torchwood, she's there, so she was one of the people that were there at Torchwood.
Yeah, and it is one of those things where it's like I can't believe that this show like really did span like a whole another
Mm-hmm.
companion parallel series that I think did just as well, right? Maybe not as well as Doctor Who, but it did well.
Torchwood went off in kind of a different direction. The seasons were a little bit shorter, and then as the seasons went on, they got less and less episodes. It started turning into like what they were doing with Sherlock.
Okay, yeah, because I never finished Torchwood. I never got through the end of
So
that whole
there were,
series.
I don't remember how many full seasons there were, but there were I think it was 3 full seasons, and then there was the Children of Earth miniseries.
Oh, okay.
And then there was the Stars series where they kind of brought it over to the United States, and Captain Jack was there, and the girl that he brought in at the beginning, I don't remember her name.
Okay.
Evie?
Was that her name?
Something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Her and her husband were still around, but then basically everyone else was gone. Because
Okay.
I think everyone else pretty much died over the course of the show.
Makes sense. Yeah, I never got that far into it, but it was one of those where it's like, oh, it's super interesting. That whole series was pretty good, and I like watching Doctor Who and seeing these tiny little tie-ins. to
Yeah,
it.
Torchwood was a very different show.
Yeah.
It was a very different show.
Yeah, and if you guys watch it, I don't know, chime in.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know if eventually you want us to go off and do like some Torchwood one-offs.
Yeah, or maybe we could just talk about it at the end of every episode where it seems relevant. We could try to
Yeah.
like, bring that in or do something like that. But for those of you in the chat who's like Ryan and Edward and Diaz
I
over here,
don't know if Larry is still around.
I know. All right, but I kind of feel like
Well,
We
where?
have-
Where? Like, do you remember the next episode?
I actually don't, because I kind of thought it was going to be the one with Sarah Jane, but it's not.
When they go back to the Torchwood castle.
Torchwood Castle. Okay, I kind of vaguely do remember that.
Nice.
I can't wait to watch it for next week, though, because it's been so long. Like, how many years has it been since like
It was like
Tennant first came
2005 or 2006.
2006? Yeah, that's been quite a long
Okay,
time for me.
so episode 2, season
that-
2, or series 2,
Is
episode
the
2.
cat nurse? Is the cat nurse one? No.
The Doctor and Rose travel back to 1879, but encounter in the Scottish Highlands with Queen Victoria a band of warrior monks reveals a deadly
Oh.
trap.
I feel like that one didn't leave like a huge impact on me. I don't remember it that well.
The cat nurses were New Earth.
Oh, okay.
That was
That's way later.
Oh, okay, just kidding.
So, yeah, so I kind of remember this episode, but not.
Yeah, I don't
Not a
remember
lot.
a lot. Like, it is one of those, like, a lot of these episodes, too, like, especially with Eccleston, where I'm like, oh, I don't think I remember this. As I'm watching, I'm
Right.
like, oh, yeah, this does happen. Oh, yeah, this does happen. Oh, yeah, this is going to play into the future.
Right,
This
right.
is the only
Like,
thing I really took away
With
from this one
Eccleston,
episode.
really the only episodes that stand out to me were the first one with the mannequins.
Yeah.
And then the
I
Are
feel-
You My Mommy? Like
Yeah,
those.
are you? That one was a good one. I also feel like
and
Cassandra.
Bad Wolf.
Bad Wolf is a big one. The other one with like Cassandra, because you had the face of Bo that's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
come back too. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one,
yeah.
I remember
And
pretty well.
that was the second and the third episode, right?
Yeah. I think it was the
When
two-parter,
because
so-
he brought the second episode was because Martha was in that episode. She was the tree person.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not it was.
Well, but she was a different
the
character.
different
Yeah,
character,
the one
yeah.
that sacrificed herself. But yeah, I mean, Doctor Who is one of those things where a lot of the episodes are good, but a lot of them are kind of forgettable for me. Like if they don't play another part like in future
Right.
episodes and there's no real callback to them, they might get lost unless it has a really strong emotional impact for me.
Right. Well, I mean, Doctor Who is for the most part it's not a week to week. It's a monster of the week show.
Yeah, it pretty much is. But as the writing progresses through the seasons, they get better and better at like putting breadcrumbs, weaving in actual storylines, and
yeah, definitely later on, and more. I would say more so with like the Capaldi season. There were more multi-episode arcs and storylines, especially when like Missy came in and
Missy and like the whole thing with the Master. But like even in this, where they I don't know where in Tennant, I know it's later on, but with like River Song, and it's like how could you have known? How did you know that this was it third season? Yeah, the library one is like the last one, and you don't know who she is, and it's like as you go on, and you're like, dude, during like Matt Smith's season, and then finally with Capaldi when they have like that last dinner, I was like, oh, I cried thinking about it. It makes me so sad.
That's just a testament to like how good the writers are.
Yeah,
on the
and
series.
leaving notes and being able to
like I don't know how much of that was even like pre-thought out. Like
or someone else was just like, I like that character. I'd love to expand a backstory on this. And then,
a little bit of retconning here and there, and they're like, okay, this is what's going on.
And then for Capaldi to be like, hey, we want to have like another like special episode. Let's bring her back if she's available, and we're gonna write this in, and this is how it's gonna end. And I'm like, oh, so good. 4 seasons?
Season 4, episode 8.
Season 4, episode 8. So River Song. So by then already, I was like, that was one of the major things that moving on, I was like, holy crap, they have been like putting this in from like Tennant from a whole different Doctor.
Right.
Because even within Tennant, like you see things like oh, okay, but you usually have the same showrunner, same writer, and like everyone's working as a team.
And that's the interesting thing to me, because like they didn't know that they were going to be able to get Alex Kingston back.
Yeah, ever.
So some of that stuff could have just been, okay, we're going to plant this here, and if it works, it works. If not, we don't ever have to come back to it again.
And it'll just be like a throwaway character. But like the fact that she's able to come back like time and time again, I'm like, man, her character is probably one of the most memorable.
Gwen Cooper. This is 4JR. I don't know who this is, but that's who Captain Jack brought in at the beginning of Torchwood.
Okay. Nice.
And he wants us to do a Torchwood show.
Oh.
The girl that could spit watermelon seeds through her teeth.
Oh.
Yes.
Got it.
I think her real name might be Evie.
Okay, it might be.
Yeah.
We're having a watermelon like seed spitting. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We could have a contest later. Maybe. I don't know.
We should. I miss those things. We should bring back like regular After Darks and have like fun stuff.
So what did you think about this episode overall? Like, if you had to rate this.
I think it's a solid start for Tennant. Even though he was asleep for most of the episode and he didn't do a whole lot, in the small scenes he was awake towards the end, it's like you get a sense like he's playful and super cheeky and like really fun, but also like extremely scary. Where it's like, hey, if it comes to it, I'll end you.
Right. Well, and
I like that though.
I did like that, because that I felt like that was one of the holdovers from Eccleston.
Yeah.
Because Eccleston had that kind of streak in him where he was like, this guy could fuck you up if he really wanted to, but he's holding back just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been a constant thing with the Doctor until we actually saw the War Doctor with John Hurt.
Yeah. And then you realize like what he has been building up and why he has been building it up for so long.
I was really disappointed that they couldn't get Eccleston back for that
know,
crossover. Like
I
know there were all kinds of problems behind the scenes, but I think if he had been there
it would have been
perfect,
because that is a transition from War Doctor to him. I felt like out of all the Doctors, he was the one that was the most necessary to come back and realize like this is why I am the way I am, and like being able to reconcile that with in himself as that Doctor. But shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't work out. Yeah, so what did you feel about this one, especially like kind of rewatching it?
I don't think it was one of the strongest episodes.
It's not.
Just the fact that the Doctor was asleep for half or more of the episode. I get what they were doing there and why they did it, but at the same time, it led to those moments with Mickey and Rose where it's like, why is this happening?
And even with Jackie.
I don't care about their relationship. Like, I wish one of them would just die and go away, because just seeing them on screen together.
Yeah, it is extremely.
Although I do have to say, when later on in the seasons and in the series, when Mickey starts going off and doing his own thing, and like we see him like more taking charge of his life, when he's like, all right, well, I'm traveling, I need to be.
I'm doing this. I don't need you. I've moved on from you.
I need to be important.
Yeah.
I need to do my own thing. I think that's when he starts coming up into his thing.
Yeah, and it's too bad that he doesn't realize this sooner, and we don't get to see that natural progression. It kind of just happens suddenly that, like, these events
Right.
take place, he's over here, this is what happened.
Well, 'cause
yeah.
But also, I feel like Eccleston was constantly putting him down too.
And, yeah, this is the first time Tennant
Eccleston
is
was kind
very
of a jerk
nice.
to him.
Yeah.
Tennant is
He's
really
nicer.
just meeting him for the first time, so he's being a little bit
But
nicer.
he's also nicer to, like, Jackie and
Yeah.
Mickey in the first initial interaction, because he still knows what Mickey did, because Eccleston didn't like him. He's like, you're a coward. You had the opportunity to stand up and do what's right, but you hid in the trash cans. I don't like you as a person.
Right.
And I feel like I didn't like Mickey as an audience member because you're a coward, and you don't want your protagonist to, like, really have that right off the bat. You need to prove yourself that you have, like, good intentions, and you know, you're a solid, complex character before you come up as a coward, you know?
Right,
Mickey
right.
didn't get that, unfortunately. And Rose treats him terribly. Like, even Jackie kind of treats him terribly, and, like, everyone does, so you don't like him, you know?
Yeah.
And it's,
Well, it's Mickey is he's on the hook.
yeah.
Like that. He's there because Rose needs someone other than the Doctor when the Doctor's not around.
Yeah, and that's so pathetic. And she treats him like, if she treated him extremely well, it's like, hey, I went on all of this, and, you know, like, spoke to him nicely like a human being, I feel like we could like Mickey and sympathize with him, you know, but we don't get that.
Yeah. But again, once he starts proving that he's useful.
But he was useful. He's the one that got the computer thing to contact them. He's like, hey, this is what they're talking about. I tapped into, like, whatever system, and this is what's going on. And, like, Rose is never like, whoa, you can do that? Like, the Doctor can't even use technology like
Right.
that. How did you know? He would just go over there and, like,
Yeah,
show up.
he
But
just kinda knew.
you're extremely resourceful, and, like, never gives him any praise. Never, like, acknowledges, like, Rose, you broke down and cried because your doctor is asleep. Like,
Well, and then it turned out that Jackie was right about the tea.
yeah.
He was like, just
Yeah,
give
after
him some
Rose was
tea.
like, no, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, obviously you don't either. You spent all this time with him. Like, yo, girl, you got to go. I can't wait until we get our next companion.
Yeah, I agree.
It's rough. Not as rough as Power Rangers, but, you know.
So I'm in the middle of a rewatch of Power Rangers 2.
All right.
I'm somewhere in the middle of MMPR.
All right.
But Joe has decided that when you guys get to in space,
Okay.
that I need to come onto the show because it's more of like the sci-fi Star Trek-y Star
Nice.
Wars type thing. So
Excellent.
I'll be coming in at that point in 3 years when you guys finally get there.
All right. See, I don't even know how it goes, but we were watching Turbo, and it's terrible. And
Well, I don't remember. At some point over the next few years, Daniel Diaz might know this better than me. I know, like Power Rangers MMPR, most of those seasons were like 60 episodes.
Yeah,
because
they were quite long.
Because they were on Monday through Friday.
Yes, and new episode
every day.
Yeah.
Later on, they moved to weekly, and it dropped down to 22 to 23 episodes.
Oh, thank
seasons.
goodness. I hope the season that I'm
I
watching
don't
now
know.
is a short
I
one.
don't know when that starts, though. Daniel
Oh,
Diaz, do you know when
no.
that starts? Or Daniel Nagami, do you know when it drops down?
Basically space.
In space. So how many seasons
no.
away is that?
Oh no, wait. No, it's before space. Space. You're like,
Yeah, it could be.
you're like,
Yeah, there might be like
you're like
20.
only a season away. Like it's Turbo then space.
Okay. Okay.
Turbo
so
and then
after
space.
after you get through Turbo,
Oh, goodness. So
It'll drop
Turbo's
down.
going to be a lot of episodes. So if you
Maybe-
want to tune in on Sundays to watch us recap Power Rangers Turbo.
maybe we can condense it down even more.
I know, if
We'll
we
see.
could watch, I don't know. I have a lot to say about that. We've only watched 3 episodes. I don't like it. If you want to hear me rant about that, tune in on Sundays at 5 o'clock. We are here back on YouTube.
Yes, we are on YouTube now
Instead of
on Facebook. Retro Ranger Wrap Up is back on Facebook, or back on YouTube from Facebook. Live from Gallifrey is back on YouTube from Facebook. The Sci-Fi Show, when that comes back, either later tonight, depending on if we can figure out things to talk about, we'll be back on YouTube, or we'll be back next week on YouTube.
We are all on YouTube. Sorry to everyone on Facebook. We had those couple months of just trying something else out. Didn't work out, and we're back here.
But on Facebook, you'll still be able to find the Star Wars Fanatics, which is on hiatus this week. And but you will be able to find the THS Wrestling Show going live at 8:15-ish. 8:15-ish tonight. They'll be talking about the new pay-per-view and some other stuff that I don't know about because I'm not familiar with wrestling.
Just make sure to click that bell because that will give you the notification to tell you when all of these things are happening and what's going on or whatever subscription thing that they use.
Yeah, you can find links to everything over on Facebook at THS Hashtaggers. We usually try and post all of our stuff over there. And if you're a Discord person, we have a Discord. you can reach out to us in the Hashtaggers group, and we can send you the link for that as
I feel
well.
like no one uses Discord unless you're a gamer and talking about gamer things.
It's bizarre. I'm actually in a Star Trek Discord, and that thing is popping off all the time.
Interesting.
Really, it's popping?
It's popping. I had to turn off notifications because they were constantly going off my
Life
my
is
phone.
hard when you're popular, Josh.
Right? No, but that's the thing. They're not talking to me. They're just like, have you ever been in a group text and you're just like, unsubscribe, get me
Yes.
out of this, go away, leave me alone. I'm trying to do something on my phone and this
Text 9 to
notification
stop.
just keeps. Yeah, I'm like, just stop, please.
But yeah, I think that'll do it for us here on this live from Gallifrey episode this Sunday. If you want to tune in at 8:15, we'll be doing the Russells.
The THS Wrestling, and again, that is on Facebook. You can find the links
Yes.
over at THS Hashtaggers.
But yeah, I guess until then, you have to like, share, and subscribe and comment to stay up to date with everything trending
In geek pop culture.
Goodbye.
See ya.